So for today on Tarot Reviews with Talula, we are going to be reviewing the Light Gray Tarot. This is published and created by the Light Gray Art Lab, and it features 78 different artists. So each image in this deck, each card is by a different artist. To purchase it, you need to go to lightgrayartlab.com. You're not going to be able to find it on Amazon or through through mass-produced companies like Barnes and Nobles or publishing companies like that. You have to go to Light Gray Art Lab to purchase this deck. The price is pretty reasonable for a self-produced deck. I think I paid maybe, I don't know, is it $25 or $30 for the deck? So it's very reasonably priced. It does say that it comes with a 32-page guidebook. What that actually means is a little white book, so don't get your hopes up for a real guidebook. This is just a little white book. In the back, they do have listed for every card the artist, which is helpful because at the bottom of each card image, there is the copyright with the artist's name on it. So if you're confused about what card you're looking at, this is very helpful. They do have they're just traditional spreads: horseshoe spread, 5-card spread, and Celtic cross spread. They have one page with a few paragraphs about the deck, the major arcana, and the tarot system itself. So if you're a beginner with tarot, you are going to find that you do need another book to help you become comfortable with traditional tarot symbolism and what the card images in this deck are trying to show you. So I would recommend Tarot 101 by Kim Huggins, The Psychic Tarot by Nancy Antonucci, 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack, or the New Tarot Handbook by Rachel Pollack. I think those are very helpful for beginners, and you can use that book along with this deck and have no problem at all becoming familiar with tarot as a system. There are 78 different artists for this deck, and so if you're concerned that it might be jarring to have a flow with each card as you're setting out a spread, I would assure you that with my experience with this deck, that is no problem at all. The flow is very beautiful, and it's the same for me as if I was working with a deck by one artist for all 78 cards. The backing of the cards look like this. It's actually the initials for each artist, which is really gorgeous. I love the backings for this card. They're just absolutely beautiful. Each card does have a border, and there are Roman numerals at the top for the minor arcana. For the major arcana, there are keywords, and for the court cards, there are, like Judgment has Judgment listed as well as the Roman numeral. For the court cards, like this is the Queen of Wands, it's listed at the bottom. But for the minor arcana, you're going to find that it does not say 7 of Wands or 6 of Cups or 8 of Pentacles. It just has the Roman numerals, and it's up to you to divine what suit it's in. For some of them, like this is the 7 of Swords, you will see swords. This is the 9 of Wands, obviously wands. But there are some, such as the 9 of Pentacles, which do not feature the pentacle symbolism really, or the word Pentacles as the suit on the card. So if you're new with tarot, that can be a little confusing. If you're familiar with tarot symbolism, then it's going to be very easy. Like, it's easy to see that this is the 9 of Pentacles. You have a woman on her own and a bird here as well. So if you're familiar with tarot, that's not going to be an issue for you. But if you're new, you will want to reference this guidebook, so I wouldn't throw this out right away. There's only actually one card that I find disrupts the flow of the deck, and that's the 6 of Pentacles. This is a photograph. The rest of the deck features artwork in some form, whether it's computerized or it's actual paintings or drawings or sketches. And I do find that this is a little jarring when I see it because it is a photo, an obvious just photograph of a woman handing an apple to a young boy. So that is jarring for me, and that's one of the images that I dislike in this deck and that I have a difficult time with. I wish they had found a different way for the flow of the deck to represent the 6 of Pentacles. But you know, the card works for the symbolism of the 6 of Pentacles. It's pretty easy to see it's the 6 of Pentacles, and so I think that, you know, you're not going to have a problem understanding it's the 6 of Pentacles, but it does interrupt my flow as I'm reading. There are a few images that I don't like, and of course the white borders are unfortunate, but you know, that's typical with tarot. For most of us, we kind of know that it comes along with the game, even though we wish that they would get rid of the borders. Queen of Wands is not my favorite image in the deck. The Fool is not my favorite, even though it's kind of funky. Like, I get it, but I don't love this image. Excuse me, this is the Six of Cups. So you can see that the colors flow really well. This is the Two of Wands. Here's the Knight of Wands. Four of Wands. So there's actually Wands cards that, most of the Wands cards I'm not in love with. King of Wands. And this is the Death card. I get the symbolism. I just don't like this image for death. You know, that's a personal preference. But those are the only images in the deck that I wasn't necessarily absolutely in love with. And I don't strongly dislike any of them except for the Six of Pentacles, just because it interrupts my flow. But they're just cards that I wasn't in love with. Cards that I absolutely loved, I actually have quite a huge stack for these, so I'm just going to come a little bit closer. Seven of Wands. Nine of Wands. Here's the Hanged Man. It just reminds me so much of Odin, and I just love this card for that. The Devil. This is such a gorgeous card. Let's see. Here's the Eight of Swords. Isn't that beautiful? Let me turn this so you can see. Wheel of Fortune. This is one of the reasons why I bought this deck, the High Priestess. Two of Cups. And this card was actually the determining factor for me buying this deck. And it's funny because I wouldn't normally like be moved by this image, but I love the moon in this deck. Isn't it just gorgeous? So cute. I just love it. Here's the King of Cups. He's beautiful. Love it. Five of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. I almost always like the Knight of Swords in every tarot deck. So I guess I have a thing for the Knight of Swords. Here's the Star. Here's Judgment. Eight of Cups. I don't love this artwork necessarily, but I think that it gives the feeling of Eight of Cups perfectly. I just like this kind of nomad heading out on a journey that's going to change you, and all you need is your backpack. I just love that image. Ace of Cups is just so pretty. Three of Swords, which I normally love anyhow. Page of Cups just kind of, I don't know, I just love this card. I don't know why. I really love the interpretation for the Lovers, so I'm just going to let you look at that for a second. Here's the King of Pentacles, which I normally don't like the King of Pentacles, but like the way he's usually represented in decks, but I really think this is absolutely beautiful. This is the Seven of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. The Six of Swords. Four of Pentacles. Here's the Ace of Pentacles. The King of Swords. The Empress. The Ace of Wands. And I love this card. This is the Three of Pentacles. Isn't that fascinating? I just want to like sit and stare and meditate with this deck for a really, really, really long time. I mean, with that image, also this deck, but with that image for the Three of Pentacles. Here's the Sun, which I normally don't like representations of the sun, but I just think that's so beautiful. This is the Ten of Pentacles, very steampunk. Two of Pentacles. Here's the Tower. I'm intrigued by this image more than that I love it. Usually we have such a fiery representation with the Tower and such a feeling of heat and fire energy, and yet this is very cool and blue and white and brown, and I'm fascinated by that, and so this is one that I intend to work with more. Here's the Hermit. I love this image. This was another one that I saw when I was deciding to get it. Queen of Cups. Nine of Swords, the little owl. Here's the Strength card. This is the Four of Cups. This is the Knight of Pentacles. Five of Cups. And this is the Nine of Cups. I don't know why, but I love that image. So you can see that the colors are very harmonious. And if you're intrigued by this deck but you're not sure yet, you can go on the, let me just make sure I have it right, the Light Gray Art Lab website, and they have each card. You can look at a picture of each one so you can get a feel for how much you are drawn to work with the images in this deck. But it's very, the colors just flow very well, even though each card is unique, and I really like that about this deck. Even though the cardstock is perhaps a bit flimsy, it's actually really great for shuffling this deck, and I enjoy shuffling this deck. So it's not too slippery, and I really, really love that. So this deck is just absolutely gorgeous from a collector's standpoint. From a collector's standpoint of view, no. I'm sorry, I'm really tired today, guys. From a collector's viewpoint, that's what I'm trying to say. This is a great deck to have because it's unique, it's different, and it's something that you're going to keep and quite possibly could, you know, be worth selling in the future, you know, if this happens to be a limited printing. So there is that standpoint, but I actually love doing readings with this deck, and for myself and for others. As soon as I got it, I usually like have a break-in period where I just work with the deck by myself before I even offer it in readings for other people. But I received this deck in the mail, and I actually used it that night after I had cleansed it with a client. And I don't normally do that, and I had a fabulous experience with the deck. It's very poetic, and like I said, it has a really great flow. It's a very poetic deck. It's very artistic. I mean, we would expect it to be just because it has so many different artists bringing their joy and their passion to the deck, but it's very poetic and artistic in the messages that it gives, and it's really clear in providing yes and no answers in a really fun way that I enjoy. So I think that this deck is absolutely worth a purchase, whether you just want it from a collector's standpoint. Why do I keep doing that today? From a collector's standpoint, or if you are drawn to use this deck, this is one that you're going to use, I assure you, if you purchase it. It's just gorgeous, and like I said, it's really artistic and poetic, and just, it's a gorgeous deck to use. The colors are just so inviting and soft and different for a tarot deck, and I really love it for that fact. I'm going to give a shout out to Dharma Apple on Instagram again, because I purchased this deck because she was using it in daily draws. So if you haven't followed her on Instagram yet, get out there and do it, because she has the most gorgeous pictures with tarot and with different decks. And again, she's working with decks that aren't mass produced for the most part, and so it's a lot of fun to just see new, refreshing ways of working with tarot from the artwork point of view with each deck. And so that's a lot of fun. But that's how I found out about this deck, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I love this deck, and I highly recommend it to you if you're considering purchasing it. I don't think you'll regret the purchase at all. It's relatively inexpensive for a deck, especially one that's not mass produced, and it's just unique. Each image is unique, and if you are someone who likes to meditate with your decks like I do, this is a great option for that. If you like to do path working with your cards as well, this is a great one. If you like to do storylines with your cards, this is a great deck for that too. So huge recommendation for this deck. I absolutely love it. I'm smitten with this deck. I carry it around with me a lot. I use it a lot in readings for other people since I purchased it, and I use it for myself with great benefit and blessing. So I hope you enjoy getting this deck for yourself and working with it. Let me know what you think of it. Thank you for watching, guys, and many blessings.